The three horses stood in a perfect line, reins trailing in the dust like broken promises. Ranger Cole Ashford stopped his own horse and slid out of the saddle, his boots crunching in the dry earth. His hand drifted toward the rifle at his side. Something felt wrong. The animals were too calm. No foam on their mouths, no wild fear in their eyes. They were not running from danger, they were waiting for something. Cole scanned the wide canyon floor, scrub brush, stone, empty land that swallowed sound. The sun hung low, turning shadows long and sharp. Every rock looked like a crouched figure watching him. Cole's jaw tightened. He had spent 2 hard weeks tracking outlaws through Apache country, and now he had stumbled onto something stranger than anything he'd seen. 3 horses, fully saddled. No riders anywhere. He stepped to the first one, a bay mare with a United States cavalry brand on her flank. Saddlebags lay open, their contents spilled across the dirt. Hardtack. A tin cup. A rolled map. Signs of soldiers. But where were the men? He checked the second horse, a gray gelding. Same brand, same story, same uneasy silence. But the third horse stopped him cold. A small chestnut with lighter gear, and a woman's saddle tied with a pale blue shawl. The edges were embroidered with careful hands, not the kind of thing a soldier carried. Cole crouched and studied the mess of supplies on the ground. No blood, no empty shells, no bodies, nothing that explained why 3 horses would be left alone in the middle of nowhere. Then he saw it, a single boot print pressed deep into soft dirt near the rocks. Cole froze. The heel was narrow, the toe rounded. Far too small for any grown rider. It was a child's boot. He rose slowly, scanning the canyon walls. Wind whispered across the ravine, carrying only dust and the faint smell of sage. Somewhere a raven cried out, the sound echoing across stone. Cole knelt again, touching the edge of the print. Fresh. No more than an hour old. He followed the trail with his eyes and spotted more prints, small ones, uneven, running toward a narrow gap in the canyon wall. A child had come this way, frightened and alone. Cole checked the horses again, still calm. They had not been attacked. Someone left them here on purpose. Someone who wanted to escape, and someone small enough to leave those prints. Then a faint scrape reached his ears. Boot leather on stone. Cole's hand moved to his revolver. He turned slowly, eyes scanning the cliffs above. Nothing moved, but the sound had been real. Close. Hello? His voice echoed against the walls, flat and hollow. No answer. He stepped into the narrow gap, following the tiny tracks. The rock walls rose high above him, blocking out most of the sun. The air turned cool and still. His boots crunched on loose gravel. The trail continued straight ahead, small steps pressed deep as if the child had been running hard. Then he heard it. Breathing. Shallow, ragged, close. Cole lifted his gun but softened his voice. I'm a ranger. I'm not here to hurt you. The breathing stopped. For a long moment there was only silence. Then, a soft whisper. They're coming back. Cole stiffened. Who? A small figure stepped out from the shadows. A girl, maybe 8 years old, her face streaked with dirt. Her dress was torn, her hair tangled. She clutched something tight against her chest, hiding it beneath her arms. Cole lowered his gun a little. You're safe now. What's your name? The girl didn't answer. Her wide eyes were fixed on something behind him. Cole turned. 3 men stood at the mouth of the passage. They were silhouettes against the sun, but he could see rifles in their hands. One rested his palm on a holster. The tallest stood with arms crossed, watching him with calm, cold interest. That's far enough, Ranger, the tall man said. His tone was polite, but his eyes were not. Girls with us. Cole shifted just enough to stand between the child and the men. Doesn't look that way to me. The man's smile was thin. She wandered off. We've been looking for her. Cole glanced back at the girl. She was trembling, her hands white-knuckled around whatever she was hiding. That true? Cole asked gently. She didn't speak. Her gaze flicked toward the men. then back to Cole. Fear rolled off her like heat from a fire. The tall man stepped forward. "Hand her over and we'll be on our way." Cole straightened. "Not until I know who you are." The smile vanished. "You don't want to do this." "Maybe not," Cole said, "but I'm doing it anyway." Silence settled, thick as iron. The man with the rifle shifted his stance. The one with the holster dropped his hand lower. The tall man studied Cole a moment, then nodded slowly. "All right, Ranger, we do this the hard way." He turned and walked out into the sunlight. The other two followed him. Cole waited until they were gone, then holstered his gun and knelt beside the girl. "What's your name?" She hesitated, then whispered, "Lily." Cole nodded. "All right, Lily, what are you holding?" She slowly opened her arms. A small leather pouch rested in her hands. Worn, stained, heavy. She unwrapped the top. Inside were gold coins, dozens of them. Cole's stomach dropped. "Where did you get this?" Quote. Lily's voice was barely a whisper. "They killed the soldiers. They killed everyone." Quote. Cole looked back toward the canyon, where the three horses stood waiting in the dust. This wasn't over. It was only beginning. Cole stepped out of the narrow passage with Lily close behind him. The last light of day washed the canyon floor in deep orange. The three horses still waited in a straight line like they were guarding the truth left behind. Lily held the pouch against her chest, her small fingers tight around it. Cole knew now why the outlaws wanted her so badly. Army payroll gold. Enough money to make men kill without blinking. He scanned the canyon rim. Shadows stretched long across the rocks. The killers were close. Too close. Cole knelt beside Lily and placed his hand on her shoulder. "Listen to me," he said gently. "You need to hide. Right now." Her eyes filled with fear. "What if they find me?" "They won't," Cole said. "I'll keep them away." She hesitated, then nodded. Cole pointed toward a ridge on the far side of the canyon. "There's a cave past that rise. Get inside and stay quiet until I call for you." Quote. Lily turned and ran, small and quick, vanishing into the growing shadows. Cole watched until he couldn't see her anymore, then stood and moved to the bay mare. He opened the cavalry saddlebags again, searching through them with steady hands. Inside, he found spare ammunition, a folded letter, and a locket with two faces pressed behind the glass, Lily's parents. He slipped the locket into his pocket, then moved toward the chestnut. He had barely touched the reins when a voice echoed down from above. "You're making this harder than it needs to be, Ranger." Cole didn't flinch. He didn't turn. "Could say the same to you." The tall man stepped into view on a rocky ledge high above. His rifle rested across his chest. The other two men flanked him on either side. Their positions gave them a clean shot. Cole was standing in the open with nowhere to run. "Girl's got something that belongs to us," the tall man called. "Hand it over and you get to ride out of here." Cole's hand drifted toward his revolver. "Gold doesn't belong to outlaws. It belongs to the army." Quote. The tall man laughed once, sharp and bitter. "Army won't miss it, but we will." Cole kept his voice calm. "You killed those soldiers. You ambushed a man and woman who trusted you, and now you want a child dead to keep your secrets." One of the armed men shifted uneasily. His partner shot him a warning look. Cole saw it. Doubt. Cracks forming between men who killed together. "We didn't have a choice," the tall man snapped. "Things got messy." "It always does," Cole said, "but it doesn't have to end ugly." The tall man tilted his head. "What are you offering?" "Surrender. Stand trial. Maybe the judge shows mercy." The man smiled, cold and thin. "For killing soldiers, we'd be hanged before sunset." "Then that's how it ends," Cole said, "but at least it ends clean." The smile faded. The tall man raised his rifle. "Last chance, Ranger. Where's the girl?" Cole set his feet, revolver near his hip. "You'll have to ride through me to find her." The canyon went still. Even the wind held its breath. Then the tall man nodded. "So be it." The rifle cracked. The bullet smashed into the rock beside Cole's head. He dove behind the chestnut horse as the canyon exploded with gunfire. Bullets tore through the air, ricocheted off stone, and sprayed dirt into his eyes. The horses panicked and bolted in different directions, leaving Cole exposed. He rolled behind a low boulder and drew his revolver. He fired one shot toward the ledge, enough to make one outlaw duck, then sprinted to the next rock 10 feet away. A bullet hissed past his shoulder. Another shattered the stone near his head. "You can't run forever," one of the men yelled. Cole didn't answer. He was counting. 3 rifles. Good range. Good angles. They had plenty of ammunition. He had 6 shots in his revolver and a spare tucked in his belt. Not enough for a long fight. He moved again, this time toward the canyon wall. As he slid behind a larger rock, he noticed something wrong. Silence. Too much of it. His instincts screamed a warning. He spun around just as the third man lunged from behind a cluster of stones. The outlaw moved fast, a knife flashing in the fading light. Cole fired point blank. The man fell hard, a cloud of dust rising around him. Gunfire erupted again from the ledges above. Cole threw himself flat as bullets ripped through the spot he had been standing. He fired 2 quick shots, forcing the outlaws to duck. Then he rolled to better cover. "You killed him!" the tall man shouted, rage twisting his voice. "He came at me," Cole called back. That was his choice. "You're dead, Ranger," the man roared. Cole didn't answer. He listened. Faint whispers drifted down. The 2 surviving men were arguing now. Panic had started to take hold. Then a chilling order cut through the canyon. "Burn it!" Cole's heart dropped. A moment later, he smelled smoke. Flames began to climb fast across the dry brush near the canyon entrance, the only escape route. The fire spread with shocking speed, feeding on dead wood and the last heat of the day. They weren't trying to shoot him anymore. They were trapping him. Smoke rolled across the canyon floor. The fire roared up the rock wall. The heat punched toward him like a furnace blast. And worst of all, the flames were crawling toward the ridge where Lily was hiding. Cole had 2 choices: surrender or burn. Neither was acceptable. He pulled his bandana over his mouth, lowered his head, and ran straight toward the fire. The heat scorched his skin. Smoke clawed at his lungs. Sparks burned holes in his coat. He pushed through anyway, stumbling through the flames and into clearer air on the other side. He barely had time to cough before rifles snapped up at him. The tall man walked forward, smiling like a wolf. "Smart move, Ranger. Now where's the girl?" Cole wiped ash from his eyes. His gun stayed holstered. He kept his voice rough and slow. "She ran when the shooting started. She's long gone." The tall man studied him, unsure, maybe believing it, maybe not. Then a small voice echoed from above. "Stop!" Everyone turned. Lily stood on a high ridge, shaking, holding the leather pouch of gold in both hands. Cole's chest tightened. The tall man stepped forward, smiling up at her. "That's right, sweetheart. Bring it here." Lily didn't move. She looked at Cole, tears streaking her dirt-covered face. "If I give them this," she asked softly, "will you let him go, quote?" The tall man hesitated, then lied. "Sure." He walks away. Cole felt his heart drop. "No, Lily, don't!" But she had already moved, already made her choice. She threw the pouch. It arced through the air. The leather burst open when it hit the ground. Gold coins scattered across the dirt like falling stars. The tall man lunged for it. Cole drew. One shot. The outlaw stumbled back, clutching his shoulder. His rifle fell to the ground. The second man spun, raising his weapon. Cole fired again. The outlaw dropped where he stood. Dust settled. Smoke drifted. Cole stood alone, with his revolver aimed at the last outlaw still breathing. The tall man stared up at him, blood soaking through his shirt. "You killed them," he gasped. "You killed first," Cole said quietly. "This ends now." The man sagged forward, his voice bitter. "There's always more like us. Always more gold." Then he fell still. Cole holstered his gun and climbed toward the ridge. Lily was shaking, silent, staring down at the bodies in the canyon below. "Lily," Cole said gently, "it's over. You're safe now." She didn't speak, didn't move. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I killed them," she whispered. I threw the gold and made you." "No," Cole said firmly. "You didn't kill anyone. I pulled the trigger. That was me, not you." She looked at him, searching for the truth. "You saved me," Cole said, "and I saved you. That's all." He reached into his pocket and placed the locket in her hands. "I found this. It's yours." Lily opened it, her breath caught. She held it close and sobbed into Cole's shoulder. He didn't rush her. He let her cry, his hand steady on her back. When she finally looked up, her voice trembled. "What happens now?" Cole gazed at the long road north. "Now we go home." They rode out at dawn, the desert air still cool and quiet. Cole had buried the 3 outlaws in shallow graves, and farther east he found the bodies of the 6 soldiers laid out in a grim line. Lily's father lay face down in the dirt, and her mother slumped against a rock. Cole buried them too, working through the dark hours with a lantern in his own tired hands. When Lily woke, he led her to the graves. She stood still for a long time, clutching the locket and the little drawing her father made. Cole didn't speak. He let her breathe. When she was ready, she placed a small purple wildflower on each grave. "Goodbye, Papa," she whispered. "Goodbye, Mama." She didn't look back when she walked away. She just climbed onto the chestnut horse and sat waiting for Cole. He mounted the bay mare beside her, the saddlebags heavy with army payroll gold, and together they started north. The land stretched wide around them. Dry plains rolled into low hills. The sky opened blue and bright above them, but Cole kept his rifle across his lap, eyes steady on every ridge and shadow. The killers were dead, but danger never left the frontier. Lily rode quiet, wrapped in his coat, her small hands gripping the pommel. She didn't talk. She didn't cry. She just held on. 2 long days later, the walls of Fort Union rose from the dust. As Cole and Lily approached, the gates opened and soldiers rushed out, rifles raised. Cole lifted one hand, showing he meant no harm. A stern-faced captain stepped forward. "Ranger Ashford, we sent men after the patrol yesterday, found the ambush site. What happened out there?" Cole dismounted and helped Lily down before answering. 3 outlaws ambushed the soldiers, killed them, took the payroll. The girl is the only witness. The captain looked at Lily, his expression softening. "Do you know your name, child?" She pressed close to Cole and said nothing. The captain sighed. "We'll need her statement. Then she'll need transport to Santa Fe. There's an orphanage there where she'll be cared for." Lily's hand tightened on Cole's sleeve. Her eyes went wide with fear. Cole felt something twist in his chest. "Captain," he said quietly, "can I speak with her alone?" The captain nodded. 5 minutes. Cole led her to a quiet corner of the fort. He knelt, so they were eye to eye. "You hurt him," he said softly. "They want to take you somewhere safe." "I don't want to go," Lily whispered. "I want to stay with you." "Lily," Cole took a slow breath. "My life is dangerous. Rangers ride alone. We track killers, cross empty country, sleep under the sky. It isn't a life for a child." Tears filled her eyes. "But you promised you'd stay with me." Cole closed his eyes. He had promised, and he meant it when he said it. He thought about his empty nights on the trail, the silence that followed him everywhere, the ghosts behind him, the ones he could never bury. Then he thought about Lily's small hand holding his coat, the courage she'd shown, the way she had survived what no child should face. He opened his eyes and looked at her. "All right." Lily blinked. "All right?" Cole nodded. "You stay with me. I'll talk to the captain. We'll make it official. When this is done, we ride together." A smile broke through her tears. She threw her arms around him, and Cole held her tight, feeling something inside him soften, a place in his heart he thought was long gone. 3 months later, they rode through a small homestead far from the noise of forts and gunfire. Cole had bought the land with his ranger savings and a small reward for returning the payroll. It wasn't big, but it had good dirt, a creek running through it, and mountains glowing gold in the distance. They built the cabin together, sturdy logs. A stone fireplace, 2 rooms, enough space for a man and a child to start fresh. Lily helped where she could, hauling water, gathering wood, learning to cook. Some nights she still woke screaming, but the nightmares came less often now. Cole always sat with her until she drifted back to sleep. Cole taught her to ride properly, to track prints, to read the land by wind and shadow. Lily taught him to laugh again, to notice small things, to breathe without waiting for danger. One evening they sat on the porch steps, watching the sun fall behind the mountains. Lily held her locket open, the faces of her parents catching the last glow of light. "Do you think they'd be proud of me?" she asked. Cole looked at her, this strong little girl who kept fighting after everything she had lost. "I think they'd be proud you survived," he said, "and that you kept going." "Do you think I'll forget them?" she whispered. "No," Cole said firmly. "You'll carry them with you always. But that doesn't mean you can't be happy again." Lily looked up at him. "Are you happy?" Cole sat still for a long moment. The wind moved through the grass. The creek murmured in the distance. The land was quiet, peaceful. Then he nodded. "Yeah, I think I am." Lily smiled and leaned against his shoulder. Cole put his arm around her, steady and gentle. Years later, when Lily was grown and had children of her own, she would tell them about the ranger who found 3 horses without riders and 1 tiny bootprint in the dust. She would tell them about the canyon, the fire, the gold, and the men who wanted her dead. But most of all, she would tell them about the man who kept his promise. She would touch the little locket around her neck and say, "Some promises are worth keeping, no matter the cost." Quote. And somewhere in her memory, she'd see the shape of a ranger on horseback riding into a wide horizon, with a child beside him and a new life waiting ahead.